Hey there, welcome back friends. In this video we will talk about Spring MVC furthermore. So let's get started, and we will try to implement a very basic and simple form where we will able to analyze the model side of MVC. So let's get started. Before that, let me quickly show you this web page. This is a web page from spring.io. This is one of the documentation provided by Spring.io for MVC. So in here we can check this particular diagram. This diagram is interesting. In here what we see, firstly we have a incoming request, and any request and response is handled by this front controller. Take a note of it. So incoming requests are handled by the front controller, and it is also returning the response. Now this particular controller will delegate the request based on the scenarios, which is nice, which is cool, no issues in there. But in here we can easily make out the three things. The things are model, which is denoted by these small orange boxes, controllers, where we have two controllers, front controller and there is a yet another controller, and then we also have the view template or view file. Alright, so now whenever we handle the request in between controller or in between template, the models are denoted by these small orange boxes. Why is this the case? This is the case because models are what? Models are nothing but data elements, and these elements contain data, and by taking help of the model we transfer the data to different controller or to the view. Now definitely whenever we are integrating with a database, again database is altogether a different topic, but again whenever we are extracting the information from the database or we are creating data object from the database, again we create model objects, and these model objects are transferred throughout the controller based on the requirement. And definitely whenever there is a requirement to transfer the data or handle the business logic, the controller comes into handy, and controller R, as the name suggests, will control the overall flow of the application itself. Alright, so having said that, let's navigate to Eclipse and let's create a very simple application. Alright, so in order to save some time, I have already added this project into Eclipse, and let me firstly show you the hello.jsp file where we simply have this text which is hello world. Okay, good enough. We also have the controller, the main controller, where we are handling all the requests and responses, and in here we are loading the hello.jsp file using this welcome method. Fair enough. And now finally let me also show you the spring sample.servlet XML, and in here we have given the prefix as /web-inf-folder. Now ideally we should not use this folder, rather we will organize our application furthermore. So just inside this web content folder I will be creating a new folder by the name of view, a very simple folder, and inside this view inside this view folder we will be keeping all the view files. So this will make things little more neat and clear. So it would be like /view/. Alright, so this looks good, and in here we have this hello.jsp file. We also have the main controller which is handling our what we say overall home page. Good enough. Now in here we will update the JSP file a little, and we would be adding a very simple form. So it would be like form, and inside form we will be adding a very simple input text. And before that let me also add a text in here. So it would be like please enter your name, that's it, colon. And in here let us quickly add in the input tag. Type would be text. Name is important, so we will give the name as name only. Let us give the name as name only, or let us give the name as first name. That's a better name. And then we will also have the submit button. So it would be like input type equals submit. Here we go. And we will give the value as very simple submit. Now moving forward, let us quickly give the action. So action would be very simple. It would be like display name. Very simple action. Alright, so this looks good to me. And now how to create this display action. Let me quickly navigate to main controller, and in here we would be creating a new public method. It will return string to start with. The name of the method would be display name, and we will return display name. Now friends, even though the name of the method is display name, or we are returning the display name, the thing which will affect this particular what we say action will be the request mapping. So indeed, whenever we will be submitting the form, it will be submitted to a URL which is /display name. So that is the important part, not the name of the method or a name of the file. The most important part would be the request mapping. Indeed, if I change this to display name all lowercase, that will indeed reduce your confusion. So let me go with the all lowercase notation, and in here we will request the mapping as value equals display name, like this. Now friends, in here there is one more thing. The default value of the method is always get, so we need not to worry about giving the method as request method.get. Now this request method.get is nothing but a enum type, and these are like predefined values. I can show you predefined values like delete, get, head, options, patch, post, put, trace. All the HTTP methods are listed in here, and this is optional. Indeed, we may skip on that, and if there is only one parameter for the request mapping, in fact we can skip on value again. We can directly give the mapping as a string value, and that will perfectly be okay. All right, now moving forward, we will receive the information from this particular form. How to receive that? Very simple. In here we need to make use of the native HTTP servlet request object. So it would be like HTTP, let me show you, HTTP, let me autocomplete, and it would be like HTTP servlet request. Here is the interface, and we will give the name of the object as request again. This is nice, this is good. And using this request object, and this is by default available to us, using this request object we will read the information. So it would be like, for example, string first name equals request dot get parameter, and here this is important. Let me quickly show you. In here the name is important, so the name should be exactly same as the name in the form. So it would be like first name, and there is this typo. Let me get rid of it. Let me use the same name like this. All right, and now let me definitely add it as a value for this request object, which is fairly straightforward. It would be like request dot set attribute, and the name of the attribute could be like first name only, first name, and object is again first name. This looks good, and finally we will return. All right, and what is this display name? Display name is again a view file which we haven't created, so let us create a new JSP file, and we will give the name as a display name. So it would be like display name. Here we go. Now friends, in here we will make use of JSP expression. Now definitely if you are not aware of JSP, it's no rocket science, but you can simply Google and check couple of things related to JSP, because in here we are making use of few small little things related to JSP. Now this is known as JSP expression, and this will enable us to write a one-liner Java code in our JSP page. That's it. So in here simply make use of a request object, and it would be like request dot get attribute, and we will give the name of the attribute. What's the name of the attribute? This is first name, so let me use this, and that's it. And before that, let us add something else, so it would be like hello and the first name. This looks good to me. Now finally let us run this application, and if we have did everything properly, then we would be able to see that everything is working. There seems to be some kind of issue because we have copied the previous application. We need to do something extra. This is not part of the tutorial, but let me show you. Whenever you copy a project and paste it right away, then in that case you need to update the context root. Let me update the context root, and we will update it as S07L02, which is the code name of this project. And let me run this application on the web server. Again the issue is because we need to clean the Tomcat web server in order to give it the refreshed new information. And now I am pretty sure that it will run the application on the web server. Alright, so these are like configuration related stuff, but it is good to know that we can like copy and configure our application. Alright, so it says please enter your name. I will enter my name. I will click on submit, and it says hello Chand. Perfect. Take a note of the what we say URL. It's display name all lowercase, right? And let me show you the JSP file. It is based on this action. So this is redirecting to the URL, and in here we are handling that particular URL mapping. So as a result, the URL mapping is very important, and the reason why we are able to handle the request on this method is because of this URL mapping, because of this annotation. This has nothing to do with the name of the method or name of the return type. Alright, so name of the file and name of the method is the same to make things a little more readable, little more consistent. But even if we rename the method or rename the file, it's hardly matters. Alright, so that's it for today, and in our next video I will deal with the model, and that would be again interesting thing, that how actually we handle the model and what exactly is the model class. Alright, so something interesting is coming up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.